This morning's guest spent her vacation in Mexico for 5 days, and when she left, a family had a new home. Who is she? You'll meet her coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at Architectural Surfaces on Cannon Road off of Highway 501 in Myrtle Beach. We're focused on a recent trip to Piedras Negras, Mexico for Constructores para Cristo, and we're visiting with the producer of Carolina People and one of the volunteers on the trip, Shari Harms. Good morning, Shari.
Good morning, Greg.
Thank you for coming in. What about this setup here, Architectural Surfaces?
It's so nice. It's beautiful in here.
They have amazing.
Like makeshift rooms so they can see how they would set up a room. They have really cool fake food back there that is very appetizing.
Fake food, yeah. Early on a Wednesday morning, I'm into that.
If you want cheese and fruit, it looks good.
I love it. Well, this is a tremendous setup. Even going in the men's room earlier and seeing the walls just beautifully done up.
Very nice.
They make sure that every nook and cranny well done and easy to get to, real close to the intersection of 3rd Avenue South here in 501.
It really is. It's right off the road, so it's good. It's easy to get here.
Absolutely. Probably a lot different than some of the things you were seeing just a week ago when you were down in, I guess it was 10 days ago when you got back.
That's right. That's right. It's been 2 weeks. And it is different. The roads are very different. The roads are very narrow there, and some of them are dirt, and you don't have any kind of warning. You'll just kind of run out of, regular concrete and just be driving on gravel. And we constantly made jokes about, picking up souvenir nails or souvenir glass in the tires because you just weren't really sure about the area that you were going into. So it was very different.
Amazing. Of course, now you didn't drive there from here, did you? You flew somewhere first.
That's correct. We flew into San Antonio, and we spent the night in San Antonio, and we got buses there. We had 3 vans for the church. We had a group of about 25 that went down there, and it's a 3-hour drive to the border. We stop in Eagle Pass on the way down there and pick up supplies and groceries because there's a safe grocery store there. We fill up with gas, and then we cross the border. And the crazy thing about crossing over the Mexican border is it's very easy to get in there. I mean, they just wave us through, and I'm not sure. We do have these magnetic signs that they give us in San Antonio that has Constructores para Cristo on the side, so that the vans are recognized as part of the construction team that's down there in Piedras Negras. So that might have been there, waving us through, but we thought, okay, it's very easy to get into Mexico, maybe too easy, but, maybe people don't try to sneak into their border on a regular basis, so they don't have to worry about it as much as we do. So.
You mentioned a safe grocery store. What do you mean by that?
Well, there are certain foods in Mexico that are not really safe, or what we have considered safe. They're not regulated by the U.S. government like our food here is in the United States. So you're just not sure of the quality of the food. So they have a big grocery store in Eagle Pass that is regulated by the United States government, that the food is guaranteed safe. The produce is, you don't have to worry about contamination or insects or any kind of pesticides that might have been used on the fruits. They've all been proven safe because they go through our USDA protection. They just don't have that protection in Mexico. So that's why we say safe. There are also in Mexico certain restaurants and grocery stores that have been proven safe. And I was talking to Ray earlier, and he's like, well, how do you know what's been proven safe? I said, well, thank goodness we were not the guinea pigs for that. But the CPC group has been down there for 20 years, and they have, tried and true places where they have eaten or picked up food, and they know that there's no contamination. It is safe to eat. It didn't make anybody sick. And so those are proven restaurants or on the list of grocery stores or supermarkets that are safe to eat the food or drink the water. As far as ice, that's another thing, is you don't drink the water at all down there. You have to have bottled water at all times. But there are some restaurants that it's okay to have their ice, and they're on the list as well.
That is fascinating. Yeah,
there's a lot to keep in mind and remember. And like brushing your teeth, that was the hardest for me, because we're used to just, you know, turning on the faucet and putting our toothbrush underneath there and just going to town, and can't do that. I mean, you put your water from the drinking water in a cup, and then you kind of use that to dip your brush in and rinse your mouth out, and then in the shower, you're constantly aware of not letting any water from the shower get
It's potentially that dangerous, Shari.
Yes, because there could be parasites in the water that would make us sick. The Mexican people are probably more tolerant of it. Their systems have, you know, grown used to it and grown accustomed to build up, you know, antibodies against those parasites.
Sure.
We have not. We're a little more spoiled. So
that is fascinating. That is amazing. So, of course, to think, and Bubba Lewis, the mission leader, was with us, you know, a little 2.5 weeks ago when we were down at C&T Cooper.
Yes.
The day he was flying out to see y'all, and I think y'all had gone down 48 hours beforehand. Everyone had gone down on Saturday.
Bubba home.
That's right. And he was so inspired and so excited and really moved by obviously everything that was going to be happening. He shared with us, you know, putting the cards in, and you know, we'd bought some cards. I know you'd sold a lot of those cards prior to the trip, but to the emotional experiences that are involved therein, that must have been powerful.
It is powerful, and it is a way, one, of funding the trip. It costs $9,000 for the church to build that house, and that doesn't include the workers or the food or the hotel stay that the workers have to stay in. That's just for the building materials, the site, and everything that goes along with building those homes. It's $9,000. And the churches, when they agree to take on this mission down there in Piedras Negras, have to come up with $9,000 per home.
Is that right?
So it's a lot. And one of the fundraisers that the churches do are selling these bricks, and they're cards that Bubba talked about. Where you fill them out and you dedicate it to someone who may be still with you, or maybe someone who's gone on.
In honor of or in memory of.
And they are placed into the walls. Now, we wait until Wednesday after, I believe it's the 9th course is built, and the walls have, you know, some depth into them. And these concrete blocks have holes in them. And before we pour that final layer of concrete, you know, to secure the perimeter of the home, we place these cards down in there, and that service is one of prayer for those people, praying for, you know, people who have gone on as we lay the cards in the bricks, praying for people who may be still with us or maybe are sick, and putting those cards in the bricks. And praying for the people that donated the cards, because if it weren't for their dollars, we would not have a house to build down there. So it's very important to recognize all those people that take part, even the ones that are not there, that take part in making sure this house gets built for this family. And when the family does their cards, they get cards to fill out. And they do special ones, and we have no idea what they're saying when they're placing their cards down in there, who they're talking about, but they know, and it's very moving to see them do their cards. And there's 2 barrier walls, or low-bearing walls, that kind of hold on the inside of the house, and they put theirs on the inside, and we put ours on the outside. So, and it's, you know, it's just kind of like they'll be in the house. You know, that's going to be there.
A lot of symbolism there.
This
is something you said. This was the 524th house.
That's correct.
Which y'all had just wrapped up, and then the group from First Presbyterian Church and some others who helped make up the group even did another house after you left. Your husband was still there through that time.
Yes, he didn't get back until last Saturday, and he was there one more week. This was, when the week I was there, the 524th house. They were building 4 or 5 more houses this past week. And so it would bring that total up. Now, Constructores by Cristo has been around for about 20 years. They've just celebrated their 20th anniversary when Diane Davis started this ministry down there. And so that's a lot of houses when you think about going down to Mexico in this very rural, rustic area. And that's over 500 homes that this mission has built.
Sprung up out of nowhere,
Yeah, it's very cool, and you can recognize them. You recognize them by the specific roofs. We have special roofs that we put on these homes, and so you can go into neighborhoods and you kind of travel around. We did a little tour and looked around the downtown areas, and you're like, okay, that's a CPC home, that's a CPC home, and it's very exciting to see all those homes. It's just a lot of homes that they have built in this time. First Pres has been doing this. They started in '92 working with the Florence group, because we didn't have a group that was big enough at that time.
Right.
But in '98, they had a group that was a size that they have to have at least 20 to build a home, and they got their 20 together, and you have to have a construction foreman and a team leader, and Howard Barnard was very instrumental in putting that team together. I believe it was '98 that First Pres actually took their first team as a church down there, without the help of another church.
I love it.
So this is First Pres's 20-somethings. I mean,
yeah,
like
23rd or 4th. Yeah, I remember that. Bubba talked about that. Sure.
So that's really neat that we in Myrtle Beach have, built houses down there, and that's how many that we have contributed to, and that's a great ministry that First Pres has, down there.
That is tremendous, and of course with your husband being the director of adult education there and instrumental with the ministry and the mission trips as well.
That's
it's
right.
A very special tie-in. Speaking of that real quick, we've used your husband's name as a good contact.
Yes.
If a viewer needs to get off to work now or just get family out of the house, what's the best number for someone to call to learn more about mission trips that either First Pres is doing or in general about Constructores para Cristo?
If they're interested in taking part in the First Pres trip down there, then they can call the 448-4496 number.
Okay, great.
And ask for Todd Harms, who's my husband.
Yeah.
If they're interested in, maybe they have a church that they think that they can get a group of 20 to go down there and help build and raise the funds to do that, then they can just go on the website that Diane has set up. It's constructoresparcristo.org.
Okay.
And they can just go on that website, and there's a contact link. She is based out in Birmingham, Alabama, and you can just contact her. It has all the phone numbers and the emails, and just if your church is interested, then you can just contact them directly, and they will send you all the paperwork that you need, and what is all is involved in getting a group of your own together. So.
Well, you've been kind enough to help lay out over the days the 5-day period here, and let's break down those 5 days, just beginning to end, essentially. Of course, you all arrived on Saturday, but you really didn't begin the work on site until Monday. Is that right?
That's right, because we fly into San Antonio. We stay the night there at a very nice hotel.
Oh, good, yeah.
It is. It's kind of like the calm before the storm, where they treat you really nicely before you're going to work like a dog.
Right, right.
So the hotel there in San Antonio was right across from the Alamo, so it was very nice.
Oh, cool.
And then Sunday, we get up and we leave. We get in the vans and we cross the border. It's a 3-hour drive, and we stop and get groceries. So, but by the time that we actually get into Piedras Negras, it's somewhere around 6 o'clock. And and we have an initial meeting, and then they kind of tell you what to expect, what you're gonna. They give out your T-shirts and put your groups together. Then Monday morning, and you wake up and they give you breakfast, and then you head to your work site normally between 6:30 and 7. And when we got there, they already had the foundation laid, and that's the custom. They have the foundation laid, and they have the rebar put in the corners.
Good.
So it gives you a good starting point. And they have locals who they hire to pour that foundational concrete, to be our mixers and take care of those things. So it gives them an income as well.
Great.
So and then that's good. And the churches have to. That's part of the $9,000 that goes into building the house. Are paying those mixers and foundation people.
Sure.
So when you get in there, the first thing we do is a devotion, and Constructores para Cristo has a devotion book, and one side is in Spanish and the other side is in English, and so that's a nice blend that we do the English, and then we do the Spanish, and do the English, then we do the Spanish, and it's a nice blend.
That's
so the
tremendous.
family takes part of that, and it's on the foundation of the home always, because that's where the family is going to be living. So that's significant in itself, that the devotion is held there every day. So we gather in a circle, and we have our devotions, and then we were divided into groups of, I think, 4, and we were giving wall captains.